host, Shanna Register, and every week we bring you news and information you can use on your next real estate transaction. Every week we record our shows, so if you hear something today that you're interested in or you just catch part of it, you can always find us online and get all the information from the show at HoustonRealEstateRadio.com. We also have a Facebook page. If you're into social media, you can click on us and like us over there on Facebook. If you've got a real estate question, we'll answer it right here on the air for you. Give us a call at 281-882-8088. You can also tweet us your questions using hashtag HRER. That number again is 281-882-8088. We'll be happy to answer your real estate questions right here on the air. Got a great show planned for you today. A lot of things to talk about. We're going to start out with Al Rendell. He is the Vice President of the North Harris County Regional Water Authority. And I want to talk with him today because there's so many things going on with water, with this rainy day fund. We've heard a lot about it in the news, a lot of things going on. Why, Al, why is it so important that we address these issues?
Well, we are such a large area. Our state is growing so rapidly. And if we want to keep up with the times and bring businesses, bring people into our state, we have to be able to provide water. We're very fortunate in this area that we have water sources. Other parts of the state do not. And when you talked about the Rainy Day Fund, that is going to be providing seed money to various projects around the state, which will bring water to the people.
Is that the Rainy Day Fund? I know that was a big controversial issue that a lot of people, weren't sure if it was good, bad. You feel like that this is a good move for the city as far as being able to bring in the funds needed to make sure that the water is available when needed, right?
Yes, this is a permanent fund. It's not a temporary fund. It will be coming from the Rainy Day Fund, and that's the reason we had to have the vote last year, because it was a constitutional amendment that was necessary to bring it over, and fortunately it did pass. Now with this Rainy Day Fund, it's just $2 billion, but we're looking at projects around the state for water-related projects that total about $53 million. Now that's a long-range plan, 60 years or so, 50 years or so. What we're looking at here is providing seed money to various projects that have been identified by various regions within the state, and they will be prioritized, and hopefully those funds will be made available at low-interest loans. They're not grants. They're not anything for free. They will be paid back, and as they're paid back, it will replenish that fund.
Okay. So on the Rainy Day Fund, that money is going to be replenished and paid back with interest, so that the fund will always be available for future projects. Is that right?
That is correct. It's low interest. I believe the legislation says that the interest cannot be any lower than half of what the current market interest rates are at the time, but that is still a very low interest rate.
The water issues that we're seeing, especially with the drought a few years ago, some of the water issues that have come up and that we're seeing, do you feel like this is going to impact the consumer's water bill? Is it going to trickle down to that level?
Well, it's not going to trickle down. It's going to flow down to that level, unfortunately. Yes, water bills are going to continue to go up. Currently, in the North Harris County Regional Water Authority, we are charging $1.75 per 1,000 gallons of groundwater that is pumped out of the ground, and $2 for the $2.20 for surface water that we sell. That is going to go up April 1st of this year.
So that's going to go to mud districts, which is going to go to consumers.
That is correct. We don't charge the consumers, we charge the MUDs.
Right, and then they charge the consumers.
They charge the consumers. We do try to have them put that amount on the bill as a separate line item so that people can know what it's going to cost them. And as I said, this is effective for one. It's going up to $2 per 1,000 gallons for the water you pump out of the ground, and $2.45 per 1,000 gallons for the water that will be sold as surface water.
Is anything being done to try to get the city of Houston as a whole to conserve more water? Are there any things in place to try to encourage water conservation?
The city of Houston has a lot of water conservation projects. They have drought contingency projects.
Okay.
One of the problems the city has, and I think they would be readily admit it, during the 2011 period when we had the severe drought, their infrastructure is so old at this time that when the ground shrinks and contracts and expands, pipes break, and they lose a lot of water in that regard. So funds from this rainy day fund could be used for infrastructure rebuilding, and the city of Houston could benefit from that in the future.
Okay. Where is our Houston water coming from right now?
Houston water, if you're talking about city of Houston or if you're talking about the North Harris County area where we're at, most of the water in North Harris County today is coming from the ground, deep water wells. We go into 2 or 3 different aquifers that we're pulling water out of. We're currently getting some surface water, about 31 million gallons a day, out of Lake Houston, which really is from the San Jacinto River flowing down from Lake Conroe. The city of Houston gets water also from the ground. They still have some wells, but most of their surface water comes from the Trinity River, which is Lake Livingston, coming all the way down from Dallas, coming down here.
So let's take this to a consumer level, because that's who most of our listeners are, consumers. If they're looking at purchasing a lake house on one of these lakes, Lake Houston, Lake Conroe, do they need to be concerned about the lake levels for recreation purposes when they're making decisions on where to purchase a lake home?
Unfortunately, yes. Less so on Lake Houston because Lake Houston is fed by Lake Conroe. Lake Conroe, as you know, during the 2011 period,
We've seen it go down, haven't we?
Dropped about 10, 11, sometimes 12 feet
It was not pretty.
down. And you're correct. But it was necessary for the city of Houston to open the dam to let the water come down because we needed water to drink down
so
here.
it could be, Lake Conroe could have problems in the future, could have to be reduced in the future.
That's correct. But this is why we're so anxious to get the Loose Bayou project funded and completed. Loose Bayou will bring approximately 450 million gallons a day from the Trinity River into Lake Houston, so that Lake Houston will then not have to rely on Lake Conroe to open up. This will not occur, though, until probably somewhere around the early 2020s. It's a $270 million project, and it's going to require a lot of work to get there. But we need the water here in North Harris County because we only have the 31 million gallons, and until we can get Loose Bayou, we are going to be having a problem.
Ballpark figures, how much water does the city of Houston use? Just ballpark numbers.
450 million gallons a day. That's both for drinking and for industrial use that they pull out of the various sources.
And pulling from aquifers, do those aquifers replenish?
In our area, they replenish very, very slowly. We have 3 aquifers in our area that we pull water out of. The first one, the Chico, is almost unusable, no water left in it. The second one, the Evangeline, is way down. And the third one, the Jasper, has a problem in that as you go deeper into the Jasper, in various pockets, you can get salt. So you can get saline and brackish type water.
Nobody likes that.
And nobody likes that. And it also costs more to process to be able to drink.
Okay. So it looks like the city is doing a lot of things to try to fix the problems. Question for you, though, for consumers who are purchasing lake homes, how would they find out as a buyer? Any way they can find out the history on the lake or what could potentially happen in the future with the lake?
Yes, they can go to the San Jacinto River Authority, and they do have a website which has all of the information on how to get there. And I'm sure their people would be very glad to tell them what the history has been.
Fantastic, because summer's coming and a lot of people like to buy lake houses.
I will say, though, that other than 2011, we have not had that much of a problem. And I've lived in this area since 1974.
Okay.
So the severe drought, if we have another one, it's good. It could be bad.
Yeah. Hopefully we won't have another one because we still have trees dying from that one that haven't been removed, right? All right. Well, thank you so much, Al Rendell. He is the Vice President of the North Harris County Regional Water Authority. We appreciate the information. And, when you're buying a home on a lake, that's something you need to look at. We'll be right back here on Houston Real Estate Radio.